Hi, my name is Dr. Aditya Pandurangi. I am a consultant psychiatrist at Harvard. I welcome all of you for this wonderful lecture series. I will be talking to you about the role of music in stress management. The first thing that comes to our mind is there a real need to discuss about this topic today? We are a very young nation with about 20% of our country's population below the age of 20. So there are so many people who are extremely energetic and productive. This is on one side. On the other side, about 10 to 20% of them have got one or the other psychological problems for which they need assistance or help. About 50 to 60% of adolescents and youth experience moderate to severe stress for various reasons. The reason for stress may be anything. It may be financial problems, it may be relationship issues, it may be academic pressures, it may be a lot of expectations, or it may be comparison with others. Whatever may be the reason, about 50 to 60% of adolescents and youth have got moderate to severe stress. About 1 in 6 Indians need psychiatric help. There was a very important, huge study which was published in 2017, which is known as the National Mental Health Survey. This survey tells us that about 70 to 90% of people who have got one or the other psychological problems, this study tells us that about 70 to 90% of the people who have got one or the other stress related problems do not seek professional help, either because of stigma associated with our specialty or because of ignorance. So in this lecture series, we try to focus on educating the adolescents and the youth so that they can understand their problems and then they can take right steps at the right time. The age of adolescence is a very sensitive age in one's life where you have biological changes taking place in the body on one side. On the other side, you have a lot of cognitive changes. That is the way we think, the way we perceive, the way we understand things becomes different, where we want to get identified. We would want people to understand our feelings, our problems, and then appreciate and respect our ideologies. This is on one side. On the other side, we have got the socio-emotional changes that take place around us. In this age, friends become nearer and dearer to us than parents and teachers who want to guide us. So with all these changes that take place in and around us, if we have to make a happy living, it needs a lot of effort, not only from you, but also from all of us. So many people come to us and say that the whole job of the students is just to go to college, sit for the lectures, and come back. And middle-aged people are the people who are supposed to worry about so many other things around us, like health, work, financial problems, and other things. You have to understand that every human being in this world has got his own share of problems. Just like middle-aged people have got their own set of stresses, own set of worries, even students in the present day have got a lot of stress and stress-related problems. Many people come and ask us, "Sir, can you just tell us what to do if we have to lead a life without stress?" So my answer to them is, you cannot imagine your life without stress, but you have to learn to manage stress or handle stress. So when we talk about managing stress or handling stress, the first thing that comes to our mind is music. I do agree that there are a lot of other things you can do to manage stress, but music is a very important tool you have with you, which will help you handle or manage stress. When you look at the ancient Indian and Greek literature, there is a lot of literature available which talks about music and its therapeutic benefit in managing physical and psychological problems. Vedas dating back to 1500 BC contain many verses which talk about music and its beneficial effects. When somebody listens to music, there are a lot of functional changes that take place in the neurons, where there are production of many neurotransmitters, and also when you listen to music for a fairly long time, there are structural changes that take place in the neurons of the brain, because of which there is change in the human behavior, there is change in the human perception, there is change in the emotions. Prior exposure to music primes the neuronal network that would also be recruited to perform specific cognitive tasks, that is, the way we think and perceive. Music can help improve motor skills and also help in improving one's self-esteem. There was one very interesting study that was done very recently where they tried to compare Indian raga, rag bhoop, with pop music and with silence. This study concluded that rag bhoop had a significant effect on the performance of attention and concentration tasks compared to pop music and silence. Having said this, I would like to bring to your notice that in Indian music, you have got something called as Carnatic Sangeet, and then you have got Hindustani classical. You have got various forms of music like Bhava Gita, then you have got light music. Similarly, in Western music, you have got pop music, you have got Western classical, like that. There are different genre of music. What is more important for you to understand is, rather than saying this music is better or that music is better, what is more important is you have to have a taste or you have to have a liking towards music, so that listening to music or performing it can really help you. What you need to acquire is that aptitude to appreciate music. In Indian music, we have got the concept of ragas, and it is believed that the ragas produce best effect when they are performed or listened to during the specific period assigned to it. In Indian Hindustani music, we have got morning ragas, afternoon ragas, and we have got evening ragas. It is said that morning ragas benefit you the most if you listen to them in the morning or if you play them in the morning. Similarly, evening ragas help you the most if you play or perform that music in the evening time. However, this concept of timing or praharas, what we call in Indian music, is not there in Western music. Whereas, as I was mentioning, in Western music also we have got different genre of music, but for simple understanding, we can divide this music into sad music, which is very slow, which is very composed, which is less fickle as compared to happy kind of music. When somebody listens to sad music, listeners direct their attention inwards. That is, they tend to introspect, they tend to look at themselves. They tend to remember their own life experiences when they listen to this kind of a music. They engage in spontaneous thoughts which are related to self and emotional aspects of life. Thus, listening to sad music could be harnessed to improve creativity in healthy individuals. Similarly, I was mentioning as in the same way we have got something called as happy. I was talking about sad music. We have got something called as happy music, which is much fickle, which is much faster compared to the sad counterpart. Listeners are more focused on the music itself rather than mind wandering. So, listening to happy music, somebody would focus more on the music itself and they tend to spend lesser time with mind wandering. If somebody is left to himself or herself, we would keep thinking about a lot of things that has happened in the past or that may happen in the future, which we call as mind wandering. And listening to happy music reduces mind wandering so that we are able to focus our attention on the music itself. Thus, happy music may be beneficial for sustained attention and it reduces ruminations associated with depression. We have got different areas of the brain. We call them as lobes. We have got something called as frontal lobe, we have got something called as parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. Depression is a very common illness in the present times. In our community, about 10 to 50% of the people have got severe depression, and about 8 to 10% of them have got minor forms of depression. When we talk about children and adolescents, 1% of the children between the age of 13 and 17 have got severe depression. That is the major depression. So in depression, the frontal lobe on the right side releases certain waves called as alpha waves. During and after listening to music, a relatively right-sided frontal activity with depression shifts towards relatively left-sided activity, suggesting that not only stress, music has got therapeutic and beneficial effect even in people with depression. So what happens to a human being when somebody listens to music or performs music? There is release of a neurotransmitter which is called as a dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter which gives you the effect of pleasure. So anything that happens to us which is good or what we like releases this neurotransmitter called as dopamine. So when we listen to the kind of music which we like, whether it is pop, rock, or classical, or Carnatic Sangeet, whatever it is, there is release of this neurotransmitter called as dopamine, because of which we tend to feel much happier, much relieved of our stress and depressive thoughts. Also, there are a lot of studies which suggest that there is a release of endorphins, endocannabinoids, nitrous oxide, norepinephrine. These are all the different neurotransmitters which are released in the brain once we listen to the music which we like. So naturally, one question that comes to our mind is just listening to music beneficial, or being an active participant or learning music, playing music or singing much more beneficial compared to passive listening? It is believed that active participation in music and music sessions, people tend to have higher perception of enjoyment and comfort. people tend to have higher perception of helpfulness. So if you are in a place where you can go and learn music, whatever kind of music it is, if you are genuinely interested in listening to music, if you are in a place where you can learn music, whatever kind of music it is, whether it is Indian music or Western music, whatever may be the genre of music, if you can go learn it, please do it. But if you are in a place where active learning is not possible, at least listen to music so that you can feel much better and rejuvenated. So our suggestion at the end of our session is music is beneficial if you listen to it for at least 20 to 30 minutes a day. Though I was mentioning that listening to music elevates the mood immediately, increases the performance on attention and concentration tasks immediately, for that effect to stay for a fairly long time, you have to be participating in these kind of sessions for at least 10 times. Remember, the kind of music you like can be used, but you have to be genuinely interested in music for the beneficial effect to stay for a fairly long time. So the summary at the end of my session is music has got its own importance in managing stress and stress related psychological problems. But what you have to remember is consistency in following is very, very essential and very important. So thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you very much. All the best.